I can show you. Arizona, we're coming in from Arizona. Wowza. Okay. Okay. So this is what my palette looks like. Nope, can you see that? Oh, Abby, can we spotlight the painting? I think that would make it bigger for everyone.
Do that right now. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm gonna try to get this adjusted. Um, it is looking a little blurry. Hopefully that won't last long. This this is the little sketch that I did to help us on our way here. This is what my palette looks like. Ooh, a fresh, clean paper plate. How exciting. Um, so lots of white paint. I got the three primaries and black. So white, black, blue, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. The usual. And I got my big brush and little brush. Big brush, little brush. There we go. Or big brush and almost little brush. Alrighty. As long as we're not getting any audio feedback, because I am hearing myself and I don't want to hear myself. Let's try something. How about that? Nope. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're gonna get rocking and rolling here. Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this beautiful spring evening. So yeah, let's put together this skier. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna work from top to bottom pretty much. Okay. So I'm gonna work in, say, the upper half, maybe, I don't know, the upper 2/5 for the sky. I want to work up that sky. So I'm just gonna start by painting the top half in white. And that's going to allow me to get really soft and blendy with those sunset colors or sunrise. I honestly don't know which one it is. So I'm just going to bring that white paint across the top. Again, I think I'm going to go about halfway. Even if I know my sky is not going to fully reach the halfway point, I can still bring this white paint down. That's not a problem. And I'm being pretty liberal. I'm being pretty generous here. I do like to blend, blend, blend for my sky. So I'm not going to be shy with this layer. Alrighty, and I'm just going to stop there to give everybody a chance to catch up or get settled. Again, if you're just kind of joining us after getting all set up, we're just painting the top half in white here. You know, I might need to get myself, might just need to cave and get myself a proper easel. It doesn't test the boundaries of physics and geometry here. Okay, so we're just painting that top half with some white paint. And what I'm going to focus on next is the really lovely, soft, peachy yellows of that sunset or sunrise. Trying to get this lens to focus. I don't know if so. It might be my eyes, but it just it looks a little blurry to me, but that's okay. A painting like this, we don't have to see in great detail. So with that white base, I'm gonna kind of touch it up real quick just in case it got dry on me. I am going to first grab just a little bit of yellow. I did not wipe off or clean my brush, so I just have a little bit of yellow right on that wet white paint. If you've painted with me before, you know that I love to have the paint mix on my brush on the canvas. It's also just after years of not feeling like getting up to like wash the brush, I just keep throwing the paint on. So with that wee bit of yellow, I'm just going to gently lay that down wherever I want some brightness. And especially with this yellow, we don't want to muddy that up, or at least for me, I don't want to muddy that up. So I just want to make sure I'm giving it the space that it needs, knowing that I can keep that a nice, fresh, untouched, bright yellow. But I'm also going to put some of this yellow in areas that I want to turn peach. And I'll do that by just adding a little smidgy smooch of red right on top. Anybody who's joining us for the very first time, I will explain the technical matter of smidgy smooch in a moment. So if you are kind of following along with the sketch, I kind of see this wedge of peach starting on the upper left and then swooping downwards. So then we are eventually going to have that bluish lavender wedge on the other side. Alrighty. Now, at this point, I am going to wipe off my brush because I've got a pretty decent glob of white paint. Oh, maybe I can brighten this up so you can see better. Let's see. Right. All right. So I've just wiped off my brush. I haven't given it a bath yet. And I do have a mug of water here if I need it for my brush. But I've just wiped my brush clean on a paper towel, and I'm going to grab the smidgiest of smooches of red. And this is what we're talking about. Barely there, red. A little red goes a long way. Okay. If you think you have a small amount, I would say cut that in half twice. And for me, I'm going to start mixing this right on my canvas. For some of you, you might want to mix on your plate or whatever palette you've got yourself going here. And I'm just going to put that peachy pink goodness wherever I want it. Maybe you want to grab more yellow here and there. It's up to you. But I really don't think we can go wrong if we are kind of following this angle. You know, we're kind of following the angle of the mountains. We're kind of swooping downwards like this direction. If I keep that in mind, and I can add a little, outliers here and there. Um, but that's the general vibe. Again, we're protecting these pink and yellow peach areas because the lavender and blue are going to be pretty strong. We just want to keep this space pretty clean. If you're feeling a little nervous about the red or you're unsure, I always say just go for it, see what happens. This is a low stakes endeavor. We're having fun. Okay. And just have fun. I just love Getting lost in a little painting here. Do I want to do squiggles? Do I want to keep things soft? Do I want texture? And what's so fun about this painting is that when we work on the blue and the lavender, it just makes the peach and yellow pop. It's really kind of magical. I am going to pause here because I do tend to go fast. Um, and I can kind of take a little lap around the pool here and see how everybody's doing. Lovely to see everybody. Don't be shy with your video. I love looking into people's houses. Oh, yeah, hold them up. I love it. Kathy and Dan. Is Dan just supporting Kathy? What's happening? Or is Dan also panting? Can't tell. Looking good. We are, oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys. Painting, it brings me joy. Do you remember the joy of painting? Wasn't that what Bob Ross called his show, The Joy of Painting? I think that's what he called it, right? It just brings me joy. I'm getting a confirmation from Sue M. It was The Joy of Painting. It's magic. And these look great. Love it. Oh, yeah. Oh, these colors are going to be so chef's kiss. Beauteous. Yes. Yep, yep. Good work, Yvonne's iPad. Love it. Awesome. All right, we are rocking and rolling here. Okay. So this is a point where I am definitely going to wipe off any excess paint, but also give my brush a good clean rinse. I want a nice clean brush. I don't want to muddy up too much my blue and lavender. So, what we're doing here is we're getting rid of that yellow, right? Because we don't want the yellow to turn the blue green. So I want a nice clean brush. Lady. All right, and at this point, I'm just going to do a little touch test on my white at the top. And I'm pretty dry up there. And because I want to make sure I can get nice and soft and blendy, I am gonna get another coat of my white. It's really up to you if you want a nice, vibrant, saturated blue and lavender, then leave the canvas bare. But if you want to get a little bit more blendy and soft, then you can give it a little retouch with this white prime. Alrighty. This time I am gonna do a little bit of smudging right on the plate. That's my brush. It has white paint on it. Didn't take it off or rinse it or wash it. I grabbed blue and got a little smidgy smooch of red. And that's looking kind of like what I want. I think I'll add a little bit more red. And just very little of that color. And I'm gonna start finding this blue, purpley. And you can kind of have fun and play around with your brush stroke. Like, what do you like? Do you want something squiggly? Do you want something really textured? Um, just have fun. Sometimes you can give a little test on a paper plate or, if you have a plastic tablecloth, give a little test run before you commit. But sometimes I just like playing right on the canvas. Again, low stakes endeavor here. We're just having fun. And yeah, That's a lot of blue. I think I want a little bit more purpley. So I'm gonna grab just a little bit more red, see what happens. Ooh, yeah, like that purple. Yeah, purple in a sunset always looks like clouds because they're getting lit up from behind. They turn kind of purple. So maybe you want some clouds, or maybe your sky is just purple. Oh my gosh, these are gonna be so, I can just tell these are gonna look so amazing. Ah, I'm so excited. Speaking of magic, there's something magic about like just seeing this on the screen. It looks so much better on the screen than it does in front of me on my counter here. Um, that's just kind of fun. And if you've been painting with me before, you know these paintings always look better the next day, and they look great on a photo on your phone. Mm. Alrighty. I'm gonna keep kind of playing around to give you a chance to play around as well. I'm looking at my canvas and I'm looking at my sketch, and I'm seeing that my original sketch has way more saturated reds and oranges. And I really like that. So I think I'm going to go and tend to that. Um, so that means for me, I'm going to wipe off the blue and purple I have on my brush and clean that really well. And then I want to tend to that really saturated red and peach because that's something that I really like about this one. All right, let's see what some of this vibrant color over here. Yeah, see, I like that really saturated, vibrant. That's cool. Oh, I went in hot with that red. Ooh, let's smooth that out a little bit. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow and tone that down. That's fun. Yeah, I'm liking that fiery vibe. Cool. And by the way, let's see if I can find it. Hmm, where is that thing? I'm looking for my little paint sketchbook. Um, because one of my best tips, of course, I'm not gonna be able to find it, even though I just had it. Um, one of my best tips if you're interested in, you know, painting more, um, I just cut this out from a little sketchbook that I got at Michael's, like a little spiral bound multimedia sketchbook. Can be small, like, half the size of a sheet of a 8 by 11. Um, and what's fun about a sketchbook is that is really low stakes. So you can just, play around with your sky colors, um, and just, experiment. So that is my tip of the evening. And if you're going all out, what's really fun, and I didn't do it with this, is you mask it with painter's tape and then you paint it and then you get to peel off the tape and it's very satisfying if you're into that. Alrighty. Well, I am feeling pretty good about where I'm at right now. So I want to take a little lap around the pool. I don't see any questions in the chat, but I can wait a couple minutes to make sure everybody's ready for our next move. All right. Oh, I love it. Sorry.
Mhm.
Looks so good. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. These colors are magic. Let's see. I'm going quickly, so I might miss you if you're holding up. Let's see. Yeah, Katie looking gorgeous. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Come on. Color is magic. Gorgeous. Are you doing two at a time? What's happening over here? Oh, you're just holding them up together. I thought you were. I was like, wow. Oh, these are gorgeous. Yes. I see Sandy and I see Nancy and Daniel. Gorgeous. All right. Ooh, yeah, I just saw another one. Yeah, Nancy's very, very nice lavender. Okay. So for our next move, oh, sorry, I'm distracted by these two yellow lines that look like an equal sign. That's gonna bother me. So I'm just gonna, if I get something in my head, I'm not gonna be able to unsee it. Okay. So, for our next move, we're actually gonna throw down there's this little mountain that's farther back than the larger black one. So we're gonna do that guy first. And this guy is basically the same purpley that's going on in the sky. I think I might go a little bit darker and maybe even a little bit muddier. So I might add a smidgy smooch of black to that. Okay. So because I have peachy on my brush, I am gonna rinse that. And I would say with this color, I would start out lighter than you think because it's easier to make it darker. It's harder to make it lighter. So I think I'm gonna hold off on adding my smidgy smooch of black. But I am going to develop reaching for my paper towel. Come here. Okay. Um, Lost my train of thought. I interrupted myself. So for this color, I'm going to start with blue and red. Little smidgy smooch of red. Not, this is not terribly purple in my world. Um, let's see. And you know what? I might even add a little bit of white because I don't want to go too crazy. So let me show you what I'm working on. So I've got, this is blue, little smidgy smooch of red, and just a little bit of white, just so it's not too saturated and crazy. And I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna see what happens. I'm just gonna see what happens. And I'm definitely going to overlap my sky. I don't want any of that white visible. Yeah, and I think I'm feeling this. I think I like this color. Not too harsh. It is lighter in value. It's meaning it's not as dark as the I don't know, the main mountain back there. Because it's farther away. So when things get farther away from us, they get less defined, less specific, and lighter because of the Earth's atmosphere. Alrighty, so something like that. I think that works for my purposes. Alrighty. And then for the closer or bigger mountain, bigger because it's closer to us, um, all you have to do is be darker than the one we just painted. If you don't want to go full on black, and in fact, I probably did not go full on black in this sketch. I can see a little bit of blue and red in there. Um, as long as you're darker, then it's going to make sense perspective wise. All right. So I think I'm just going to add a little bit of black to what I had going on. And this is where it can get a little nerve-wracking. People get very nervous about, smearing this big black line across their beautiful painting. But again, low stakes. Not a big deal. We can work with pretty much anything. Everything is fixable. Alrighty. And for me, I think I'm going to do a little bit of sketching just to make sure I'm getting the shape that I want. So something like that. I think I'm gonna get a little bit higher on this left side here. Yeah, so just kind of sketch it out. And then I'm just gonna fill in under that. And I don't know. I'd say go as thick as you want, but I wanna make sure that the majority of the bottom half of our painting is snow. So let's see what I can do. I think I think I might even sketch the bottom. This isn't really something that I would do by myself, but I think it's helpful to kind of just control the size of that thing. And then I can just fill it in. Do, 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 do. Oh, if at any point you have any ideas to share, Abby and I are always thinking of new things to paint that are Penn State themed in some way. And we welcome any ideas that you've had. In fact, I think when we did the We Are sculpture, the like mirrored sculpture, that was an idea that came from people just letting us know in the chat. So yeah, if there's anything that you've been wanting to do and we haven't done it, who knows? Next time we do the PSAA paint night, we could do it. Alrighty. Something like that. Alrighty. I'm gonna pause here, take a lap around the pool. That is definitely blurry, right? It's not just my eyes. Hmm. Ooh, these look so good. Oh my gosh, they look awesome. We are looking good. Oh my gosh, we are looking so good out there. Ooh, love the texture, love the color. Beauteous. So good. Ugh, these colors. Awesome. Is my hand focus? I took off blur my background, so I don't even know what that is. Hmm. Could it just be the lens? Hmm. Video filters, none. Virtual backgrounds, none. Okay. Oh well. We're doing it. You're doing great. I guess even if it is blurred, it's not affecting your work. So that's all that matters. Okay. Ooh, a creamery ice cream cone where the whole painting is ice cream because that's how big it is. That's a fun one. We did the Nittany Lion holding, I think he was holding an ice cream cone, but we've never like kind of zoomed in on the ice cream cone. It could be fun. Back in the early days, I would just pick a painting and then put a paw print on it. And that was like, ta-da.
Mhm.
Although lately, if you are at University Park, we can paint a crane because there's this massive crane on campus with the construction going on at what is it, Sackett?
Mm.
Okay. So for our next trick, we are going to tend to the foreground of snow. At this point, but let's see. Trying to figure this out. So choice A is less anxiety inducing. Choice B is a bit more gutsy. So, if you want, what I have on my brush now is that mountain color. And what that mountain color is great for is kind of sketching out the color of the snow that is the not white part of the snow. So if I just in a gutsy move, just put some line work here and in my foreground here, not saying you have to do this, but what that does is that it uses that same mountain color, so there's going to be harmony in the painting. And next, I can wash off my brush, get it nice and clean, grab some fresh white, and then throw that on top, and I can get all sorts of fun blending happening. So I would say not required. but if you're feeling gutsy and bold, I say go for it. And you can even mix up a little bit more purpley. I guess I want more red. A little more red. Okay. And the idea here is it doesn't really matter what we do there because we're gonna smear on top with white. And it's gonna get blendy and fun. But again, that is personal choice. You don't have to do it that way. If you put the white down first, you're just gonna do the same thing, but after the white is down anyway. Um, but I think people can get a little bit nervous, like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna put that dark color right on top. All right, so I threw down my little sketchy color down there, and I've wiped off my brush on my paper towel, and I'm giving it a nice clean rinse. In fact, I think I'm gonna give my water a refresh. I want to make sure my brush is nice and clean. Alrighty. Alrighty, I'm excited. Got my nice clean brush. Gonna grab a whole bunch of white. Definitely not gonna be shy. Big old glop. Here we go. And speaking of not being shy, I'm not gonna worry when color starts to bleed through, right? It's gonna happen, and I live for it. I love that stuff. Fun thing about snow is just you can get really gloppy with your paint and you get that texture and it just really works because it's snow. And you're gonna see lots of magic happen as we do blend that white over the blue or whatever colors you have down there. And I'm gonna vary my brush strokes and the amount of pressure I'm putting. Like, so sometimes with snow, especially, you might just kind of want to think about it like you're icing a cake. Like you're not scrubbing it. You're just, laying it like buttercream on a cake. Very little pressure. And in that method, you would get very little blend and bleed through of any colors under it. So like laying it on thick like that, I can pretty much white out any of that dark color, or I can scrub and it starts to show through. So have fun with different brush strokes, different pressure, different amount of paint on your brush. This is fun. This is a fun one. Oh, and by the way, so you always, when you're talking to like friends or, anyone, and they say, oh, I've never done this, or I've never watched that movie, and you're like in disbelief, like, how could you have never done this, or how could you have never seen this movie? Well, I've never gone skiing in my entire life. And it's a bucket list thing. Um, but it's so funny how some people like that's just what they do. They do it every winter. Never done it. I would like to, just never happened. That and riding a horse. I really want to ride a horse. Two of my top five bucket list, skiing and getting on a horse. That's fun. Love the texture. And my art nerd brain is loving how the sky and the foreground of the snow kind of has the same vibes. We've got kind of like a squiggle of color. So my art brain is happy. That kind of parallel line movement is just, scratching an itch in my brain. Alrighty. I'm pretty happy with that, but we can again play with adding any kind of color that we want. Like, I don't know, you want some purple over here? Why not? It's shadow, right? Skiers, I mean, I don't know. I know skiers like go downhill, but do they just kind of hang out and walk around too and make all these dents in the snow? I don't know. That's fun. Alrighty. Cool. All right, I'm gonna take a little pause here to make sure everybody's caught up. Everybody's doing. Everybody looks hard at work. Ooh, they look so good. Nice. Oh, these are gorgeous. Oh, they're so good. They look great. They look great. Awesome. All right, so I am taking off any excess paint and giving my brush a rinse. I guess I didn't really need to do that because it was just white, but it happened before I could think about it. All right. Um, I know some of you are probably anxious about this skier, but we're gonna break it down into easy shapes. Oh, love it, love it. Looking good, looking good. Um, I will break this down into simple shapes. Um, People are tricky because we want them. I don't know if you can hear my son hysterically laughing. Anyway, people are tricky because the proportions need to be on. Otherwise, we can get some weird things happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the body, and then the legs. Okay. And in starting with the body, the first thing that we do in putting down the body is everything then stems from that size and shape and proportion, right? So we really want to make sure that the first thing we do is decent in terms of proportion. And for this guy, the body I've made pretty simple because we're just going to basically do a rectangle. All right. And I'm going to do a really forgiving color. I'm going to make a very light gray. And a very light gray in this painting is very forgiving, meaning it can be touched up if things go, you know, awry. But let's kind of figure out where we are in space. In my world, the top of this rectangle, which is right here, let's see, this is the top of the rectangle, his shoulders, okay? The bottom of the rectangle is the bottom of his jacket, okay? So top of the rectangle, shoulders, bottom of the rectangle, bottom of the jacket. So his shoulders, the top of that rectangle is squarely in the middle of my mountain, right? So that's where that top thing is going to be. And then somewhere down below is the bottom. So for me, I'm going to put his shoulders right here. I think I need to make him a little bit wider. And anytime with body parts, you want to err on the side of being too small because you can always make it bigger. It's harder to shrink it down. Okay. So I would keep that in mind. I would err on the side of being small, and then we can always enlarge it if we needed. All right. And then from his shoulders, I'm just going to pull down a really, really rough, super rough triangle. Excuse me, rectangle, rectangle. Oof. All right. Rectangle. Step one. Check. Legs. The legs are going to be first very, very rough, sketchy, skinny rectangles. Okay. But we want to have some of that movement, his stance, right? So his feet are separated at the bottom. So the leg on the left, his left leg, is going to kind of slant out this way and this way. And then for his right leg, I want to indicate a little bit of a bend. So we've kind of got two rectangles, one at the top of the thigh and one at the bottom, something like that.
Please close the door. Close it, please close it. We don't want.
I'll be right back. All right, gotta shut the door. Yeah, keep this closed, bud. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. I'm looking at my canvas and I'm looking at my sketch here, and I don't think I gave myself enough room to do the skis. So if you're in that same boat, we can move him up. That's not a problem. And because I use this light gray, I'm gonna move him up actually by making him a bit skinnier. But this is a good lesson in like what do you do when you want to make a change? So I'm gonna just make his torso smaller so he then lifts up on the canvas. I'm gonna make that new change a bit darker just so you can see the difference. And I'm gonna make this new thing more blue so you can see the difference. So something like that. Now I think I've given myself room for his skis. All right. I hope you can kind of see how he's going to come together. I'm going to stick with blue because I think it's easier for y'all to see. So here comes another rectangle. It's a skinny rectangle for his arm. And his left arm is bent. So it's going to be two skinny rectangles shaped like a V. And I'm just gonna fill in his jacket. In the original, his jacket was basically like a dirty gray blue. Alrighty, and as I start filling in the jacket, I want to make him look less Tin Man and more human. And I can do that by rounding out the top where his shoulders are, just barely. And then bring that down into the arm and the other arm. And for my guy, his jacket is just kind of darker at the top. And then I kind of fade down. But you can, you know, have your jacket be as bespoke as you wish. Okay. For his pants, his snow pants, mine are kind of like a lighter gray. I'm just gonna fill those in. Gonna do just a very basic fill, and then I do want to pause and just give everybody a chance to catch up because this can be a little nerve-wracking. But the idea is that the vibe of the painting is very loose and sketchy. So we're not going for full details here. But I will show you the tips and tricks to make him a little bit more three-dimensional and human. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can hear the laughing, but it's kind of ridiculous. Okay. My son comes from many generations of big laughers. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause here and just see if anybody has questions, see how we're doing. So, one of the little tips and tricks is, light and shadow. So, the sunset, he's facing the sunset. So, we're going to get a little bit of this bright sunset lighting up his right side, I would say. Or just, his edges, I imagine, are going to be a little bit bright. But for the most part, his back is to us. He's in shadow. So he's gonna be pretty dark. I don't know if any of you have been following the Winter Olympics, and I'm not hugely into it, but I will say what is it? Is it the biathlon? That is skiing and shooting, which is the coolest thing that I've seen. Like, let's get a massive cardio workout, ski up a mountain, and then I have to hit 5 targets. It's just amazing. Amazing. So yeah, maybe that's my bucket list. Skiing and then being able to shoot 5 targets while breathing heavily. So then on the other side of the light, we have the dark. So I just added a little bit of um, black or just a darker version of this color um, towards his backside, which, his backside is to us, but just a little bit more. And his mittens, because I'm just saying he's wearing mittens, because mittens are easier, just a blob, right? And his mittens are going to be grasping his ski poles. I'm not going to do ski poles just yet. And you've noticed that I haven't even tended to his boots. But his boots are just going to be a very, very sketchy suggestion in black. Because the most important part of his ensemble, of course, are the skis. And I just pull those right through his heel and out front. All right, and I'm gonna lift this canvas up because this is getting a little tricky with all my setup here. All right, so there's one ski. And oh, I went too harsh on that angle. Not a fan. Let me show you what I did. So that angle is too sticky uppy and I want it to lay flat more. You can see the difference in angle, I think. So I'm gonna lay that ski down flat a bit more. I want to make that angle between the ski and the bottom of the canvas more acute, so smaller. And then I'll feel better about that. Oh, that's much better. Oof. All righty. So yeah, we pivot. We want to make a change and we pivot. We think we made a mistake, we pivot, we don't panic. Ooh, I like that. We pivot, we don't panic. Oh, put it on a mug. Okay. So I'm gonna cover up my first ski there. Oh, that's so much better. Gotta get your angles right. So yeah, if you're having the same issue I did, your skis look a little sticky uppy, just lay them down more flat, get that angle smaller. And I mentioned earlier about laying on the paint like icing. I'm gonna grab some of that white paint and just lay it right on top of that ski. And we say, goodbye, ski. You were never here. Okay. I think I gotta stick this ski out past him on this side. Alrighty. Cool. I'm not too unhappy about that. That's pretty cool. I'm feeling that. I just need to accept that most of my clothing has paint on it. That's okay. Alrighty, we've got the headless horseman here. If I take a look at my sketch, his head is really simple. The name of the game here is to not let the head be a floating circle above his shoulders. You want it to kind of sit, on a neck, but I'm not going to necessarily paint the neck explicitly. I'm gonna start with just white. And I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna err on the side of being too small. We can always make it bigger. And I'm just gonna start building up this, basically a helmet. He's wearing a helmet. Safety first. Alrighty. Okay, that's looking a little too small, so I'm just gonna keep building around and around. And there's this band across the helmet. I guess that's where goggles would be strapped on. I think we're getting closer. I think I want to go a little bit bigger. Let's see, are we almost there? No, I think I want to go bigger. I'm going bigger. Trying to look at my sketch for inspiration here. If I were smarter, I would have moved to a smaller brush, but I am not smart. Okay. I've got a little wobbly wonky over there, but I can take care of that. I think I'm almost there. I'm worried now about playing with it too much. But let's see. And with the helmet especially, we want to see that bright shine on the right side as he's facing the sunset. And we can get into maybe a bluish, grayish shadow on the left. Okay. And let's give him that band across. Right over the old eyeballs. There. Something like that. And then, well, maybe I stop. I get a little ahead of myself and I get lost in the painting and I go too fast. So I'm gonna stop here. We're working hard, working hard. So really the only thing left that I'm gonna add are the poles. And they're just nothing special, just a line coming from each hand. I guess they have like a little end. I don't know. I'm winging it here. Um, and this other one is kind of he's kind of drooped that one down. Alrighty. Something like that. And then if I want, I'm not really going to add anything, but I can certainly play with, his coat a bit more, make it a little darker if I want. Maybe his pants, I want to be a little bit brighter. It's fun to play, but it's also important to know when to walk away. And if you do consider yourself an artist or a writer, you know that nothing is ever really done. You just abandon it and walk away from it. Because there's always something to change, there's always something to add. Alrighty. I think I could stick a fork in mine and just take a look around the room, see how everybody's doing. Ooh, stop it. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so proud. But more than pride, it's joy. I feel joy. You bring me joy when I see what you paint. Oh, these are awesome. These are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So fun. The colors are amazing. The skiers look amazing. people are tricky to do. It's not like a leaf, you know. One wrong move and you're like, ooh, these look great. Ooh, some of them even look like they're soaring, which is fun. Very nice. Ah, that bright sun in the left there, Mary Lou, is really nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for time flies. Um, it's amazing. I feel like we painted for like 15 minutes, but it was over an hour. I want to thank you all for joining me on this evening to paint. Um, who knows? Maybe we'll get snow next week here in State College. But I wish you well wherever you are in the world, and Abby and I hope to see you next time. Don't be shy about sending your ideas over. Abby and I are always trying to think of something. Yeah, so if anybody you know couldn't make it tonight, the recording will be on the PSAA website under archived events. So send your friends that way if they missed it. Otherwise, I'll say goodnight and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.